Hello, my wonderful people.
What's
Welcome to
up?
the Pixar Retrospective. If you are here because you're a person that subscribed to my channel, you're probably expecting a stop motion animation. And I'm here to tell you that this extremely long video was not stop motion animation. So,
It's not.
uh, if that's what you're looking for, that's not what this is. But we are going to have a rip snorting time talking about
I've never
the
heard that for rip snorting.
Yes, yes. We will be discussing the fantastic film, the Toy Story today, and I am joined by the illustrious
Alright.
Mr. Protan Productions here.
Alright. Oh. Getting into the
Yeah,
channel names.
yeah.
What's
Giving you a
up?
little shout out.
Shout
Um,
out. That's just a meme channel, by the way, so it's not no
yeah,
big deal.
yeah. Go check them out and subscribe if you know what I mean.
Scrub, yes.
Um, so yeah, uh, so what this podcast is, and hopefully will continue to be, if we keep making these episodes, um, we're just going to talk about sort of the Pixar movie and how how we felt about it as a kiddo and how we feel about it now, and we're going to discuss the film and all of its wonderful glory
No,
and its
flawless
flaws.
movie. It's
This is a
flawless
flawed
movie.
film. All right, um, so you want to start since
Yeah, I'll start.
you are the Toy
I'm the
Story master.
expert. Expert.
Yes.
This movie was my life as a child. I had a Buzz Lightyear room. I had everything. I loved this movie. Back then, it was a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, best movie I've ever seen. Best movie I ever would have seen in my entire life on repeat. So yeah, and I guess we didn't mention this. This movie came out in 1995. We weren't born then. So we're youngsters.
Way to give away our age.
I know.
Jeez. Don't
We're
tell people on the
youngsters.
internet how old you are. It's
That's
dangerous.
right. That's right. They may be looking out
It's
for
not
you.
safe.
Anyways, we'll get into next week with with Bugs Life. We got
Whoa,
an
easy there.
actor.
You said next week.
We got
You
Kevin
said next
Spacey there,
week.
so we'll check that out next week.
We'll have some nice Kevin Spacey memes.
I don't know about
Stay
that. We
tuned.
need to keep it PG. Keep it PG. You know what I'm saying?
Kevin Spacey's been in plenty of PG movies.
Well, he's not anymore. He's not. He's not gonna be in any movies anymore. I'm pretty sure. Not
I hope he
many.
is.
Not many.
I miss him already.
You miss him. He was good movie driver. But so yeah, I love this movie. I remember going to the first thing when I went to Disney World. I always wanted to go to Pizza Planet. Pizza Planet was life. The pizza actually didn't taste that good, but it was the best. And I still like the movie. I still love the movie. It's still got a special place. You know what I'm saying? It's got that special place.
I
So,
suppose.
10 out of 10 back then. We'll see what it is now. But all right.
All right, you
What did
want me
you
to
think
talk
of the
about
movie?
my childhood in Toy Story?
Let's do that.
Okay. So when I was thinking about this earlier, I realized I actually saw Toy Story 2 before I saw Toy Story 1.
Wow. I
And
actually don't. I actually don't know what order I saw them in because it was so early. So
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So I watched Toy Story 2 on VHS at my friend's house. I was like,
Right.
whoa, that was a pretty great movie. And I found out, wait, there's a first one? So,
What? A 2? There's a 1?
and this was when I was really young, probably 3 or 4 years old when I first saw Toy Story 2. And
Wow.
when I saw Toy Story 1, I did not like it that much, to be
Wow.
honest.
And
Because
you still don't own ISA.
I like it
No.
now more
No,
than I
we're
did.
we're not. That's for the end. We're leaving a cliffhanger.
No spoilers here.
No spoilers on the end.
So, I didn't really like it because Sid's house freaking creeped the heck out of me. And like, I remember when I did watch Toy Story as a kid, whenever I got to that part, I'd just like either cut off the movie or skip to the end. One of the two. Because I hated that. It creeped me out. All those little
That's like
freaky
a third of the
toys.
movie too. Like,
It is.
That's a
And
big
Buzz
chunk.
broke his arm off, and that made me super sad.
And you're like, why is this? Yeah, whatever.
So I didn't like it that much as a kiddo, and I didn't watch it that much either. And
All right.
that's basically my childhood with Toy Story.
Wow.
At least the first one. I did like the second one a lot more.
There you go. Well, the second one's good, and we'll talk about that. I guess.
Yeah, can't spoil too much.
I know. Yeah.
So Toy Story 2 is
So that's
episode
two. That's a
3.
two. Levi's got a to be continued for his childhood
Yeah,
story.
that's right.
So
Okay.
we'll start with the first thing we see is this
Oh, boy.
this little session Andy's having right now. Oh, by the way, fun fact: do you know Andy's last name?
Signor, the guy from Screen Junkies.
It's
Is it the
Andy
guy that
Davis.
got
No,
kicked off Screen Junkies?
don't guess. I lied when I said guess. It's Andy Davis. All right.
Andy. Oh, I knew that.
How
I knew that.
did you know that? Because I had to look it up.
It rings a bell.
It rings
I
a
knew
bell.
that for some reason.
Do you know his mom's name?
No.
Mrs. Davis. She literally doesn't have a first name to this day.
This is quality storytelling.
It's well, okay.
Flawless.
You gotta chill with that because this is quality. And
Okay.
actually Woody has a last name? Did you know that?
Is that right? Sheriff Woody. Woody
Sheriff
is his
Woody.
last name.
Pride is his last name. Pride. So
Oh, wow.
that's kind of I don't know how I feel about that.
That's a neat little nugget.
You know, a little
detail.
trivia in case you're doing a little trivia game at the Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
Yeah.
They bring it up. It comes up.
B-dubs.
B
I always
Dubs. That's
talk
right.
about Toy Story at B-dubs.
Always. That's always the last question. Is like, what is Sheriff Woody's last name? Nobody gets it.
I know Buzz's last name.
Anyways, so we get what? Wait. Oh well, yeah. I was almost confused.
I got you. I got you. With
I
that one.
know. I was very confused. It almost caught me off guard. But
Got him.
so we get into the movie. The opening thing is One-Eyed Bart, aka Mr. Potato Head. He's stuck up. You know, he's everybody in the town terrified of him. So Andy's doing this little play thing on it. And this is cool, right? It shows like
Yeah. It's great because right off the bat, you already understand Woody's motivation. Because it's important to establish character motivation.
That's right. That's right.
And especially in this movie, because Woody is really a jerk for most of this movie. But
No, we'll talk about it later, but he was even worse of a jerk
Yeah.
in the old in the previous
scripts.
scripts. So we'll talk about
Yeah.
that.
And it's really important. Like I always think about the bit where he runs downstairs, and he throws him on the couch, and Woody his little head falls on Andy's butt or whatever. It's cute, you know.
Yeah,
you can tell,
yeah.
You can tell that they have a little relationship.
Yeah.
And
So we
you understand
established
Woody.
that he's the top dog in Andy's
Yeah.
mind, right? And well, yeah. So he's already the top dog. So he gets introduced. He has this dead stare, and he says, "Reach for those." It's a little. I think
There's
it's a
a
little
lot of-
poking fun at how ridiculous this looks, right?
There's a lot of things in this movie that look very, very creepy.
Well, that was. I think this was intended because he has the dead stare. You know, he's not quote unquote alive at this point.
Right.
So yeah.
Wait, is that a thing? Are the toys like dead whenever they're being played with?
I don't know.
I don't think
they're
No,
definitely
they're not.
aware. They're definitely aware.
Yeah, they're aware. They're aware.
All right. So, do you have any more to say about this opening?
About
opening
this
sequence?
opening scene. I don't know. It's nice. Got some good music.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I do really I like Randy Newman. You know, he's
It gets
a
the-
good choice for
Yeah.
I guess this homey
Gets the-
feel.
Just
Kind
the
of like
credits out of the way early
feeling
on,
of home.
and you already
credits
understand your
out
main
the way.
character.
the,
I always hate that in movies.
That's what happens in movies, right? That's what they tend to do. That's a really good thing that movies be doing, you know?
Yeah, give credit.
Anyway, so this actually wasn't, there were actually two different openings to this movie.
Oh, really?
There were, the first one, which I think is terrible, they shouldn't have done this, was that Andy was already watching Buzz Lightyear cartoon.
Oh.
And it goes to a little intro, and they eventually made an actual cartoon, but
Yeah,
and it has a little sequence of him fighting Zurg or whatever, and Zurg looks completely different. His character design is completely different.
Yeah.
But and Woody's like sitting beside him, and I thought that would have been terrible because you have to establish that Woody's top dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's not interested in Buzz.
Head honcho.
Until he gets Buzz.
Yeah, he doesn't like, we got to establish.
Woody has to fall from his throne first, It's not like he's already getting cheated on,
The strange things are happening to him,
Yeah, the strange things.
Some might say they ain't happening yet.
Kevin Spacey
Nothing
isn't
strange.
in Pixar yet. There aren't any strange things going on.
Is that when the strange things happen? Is that when the strange things happen? Well,
yeah.
So that was the first kind of, and these are all like YouTube and stuff. They're like they're basically just storyboards with voices over them.
Right.
So anyways, so we get that, and the other one is that it's like a standoff, right? Like an old West standoff with Andy. Andy's like his standoff with Woody versus Woody, which I think is a cool kind of concept. So they're like doing the standoff, and Andy's like, "Oh no, I fell," stuff like that, and he hits like a nightstand or whatever with a vase on it. Mm-hmm. And Woody sees this, and he like catches it really quick.
Oh, really?
Which I think is really cheesy. Like, I'm glad they didn't do anything like this. Like, that's corny. I think that's corny. I think that's corny because it's just like,
yeah.
I think it just like fix random little things. Like, why would they care? Like,
I think it messes with the payoff at the end too.
Right. It does.
Yeah.
Also, screenplay of this movie, I was while the credits were rolling or whatever, is by a very familiar name now, Joss Whedon. Did they write the screenplay for this? I thought that was a little interesting tidbit.
Well, what do you know?
So,
what happens next?
What happens next? Tell me what happens next, Levi. Do you know?
What were we talking about?
We were talking about the first scene.
The first scene where he's playing with Woody?
Yes.
After that, isn't that like whenever he's having the staff meeting?
That's right. We'll go into the staff meeting. Everybody's like, well, you get the big man, everybody's alive or whatever. Because that doesn't come until later.
You get to see all the crazy toys and stuff.
And they're all...
Me and my brother, we used to, whenever we wanted to talk in private away from our parents, we always called staff meetings.
This is where you got that.
Direct Toy Story.
Direct. That's really cool. Because it's really funny to think of this staff meeting type of thing. It's like an office term or whatever. Like he's like Michael Scott or something.
Woody is Michael Scott. Yeah.
But he's like, of course he. And we get Ham, which is, of course, a very talented John Ratzenberger, which is, I love him. But Cheers fame.
Him and Potato Head are kind of antagonists in this movie.
That's right. There's a little like dichotomy of like, I guess that's the right word of, he hangs with who, and like Slinky's kind of like the second in command or whatever. Yeah. That Woody really is kind of mean to frequently.
Yes, he is.
Which is kind of sad.
So yeah, they figure out the birthday party's today because Woody went downstairs at the beginning, I guess. Yeah. Saw the stuff, and he's like, and by the way, birthday party has been moved to today, and then everyone
freaks out because this is of course a monumental event.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy. It's
so
like the toy holocaust.
I don't know if I go that far. They just get forgotten or whatever. That's a big theme in the. There's a big theme in the trilogy, I guess,
and
of
Pixar
being forgotten.
Just getting forgotten.
What is that? What's another? Because I didn't think about Pixar as a whole.
Like you got Cars 3.
Cars. That's it. Cars 3. That's.
Oh gosh.
I actually like that movie. So.
The Incredibles, the superheroes.
That's right. Getting old. So I guess there's a little theme of that, and like WALL-E's a little like that.
Yeah, and Wally, the robot they leave behind.
There you go. So I
Yeah.
guess yeah, that makes sense.
I I
Oh,
saw a
also,
really
okay,
wait,
go
hold
ahead.
up. I saw a really interesting video the other day. I
Uh,
don't remember who made it, but it was great. Um, and basically, it was saying that Toy Story's plots are the opposite of like the old Disney animations. Because in
oh,
those
okay, I didn't know
in the
this.
Disney animations, it always started like with Cinderella, where she has nothing and she wants more. She wants to be a princess or whatever.
Yeah,
And but with Toy Story and most Pixar movies, your characters start in a great place where they're happy, they don't need anything. But something changes and they have to learn to adapt. And it
the
makes it
strange things
more
happen,
yeah,
right?
it makes it more relatable to real life. And that's why they're saying Pixar really connects with people a lot more than other children's things.
So it's kind of like a revolution, I guess,
Yeah.
of like
It's a
Disney.
revolution in storytelling.
It's a new era.
It really is a new era of storytelling.
This someone would say this breaks new grounds.
It
Would you
broke
think?
new ground.
So,
Yeah.
we haven't talked about this. This was the first, animated picture. You
Hmm.
know,
It
full
was. It
length
did break
animated
new
picture,
ground.
which was cool.
Um,
And that connects a little tidbit. If you look
mhm.
behind Woody, right, he's doing the staff meeting. There's like books behind him,
Yeah.
and we see. I don't know if you notice these names. Some of the names of the books are Tin Toy, Knick Knack,
Oh yeah.
and
I
Red's
remember.
Dream.
I
Those
remember
include,
Tentoy.
and those are all little shorts. It's
Yeah,
a little
I
nod
remember
to the
that.
beginnings. Tin Toy is actually this is what the first ideas for Toy Story came from. Tin Toy.
Right. Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
that's neat.
and we see
I,
Andy's little sister Molly, and that was kind of a
oh yeah. She's in
thing.
movies later, I think. Right?
So that she's in this one as a
Yeah.
baby.
She is also in this one, but
The one that we're
she's
talking
a
about
toddler.
currently. Yeah, so she kind of like Mr. Potato gets mad. This is kind of
Hmm.
earlier, kind of jumping
Yeah.
back. But he's like, 3 and up or whatever. That's what it
H is
says on the
3 and
box.
up.
That's
Yeah.
that's a really funny line, but that's kind of based on like Tin Toy, where the baby terrorizes, which is a terrible looking baby.
Yeah.
And if you ever watched Tin Toy, is terrorizing these, this toy or toys.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's another callback to that.
All
So
right.
they have the staff meeting. Oh, we also get introduced in to Bo Peep. Now my
Oh
question
yeah.
is
Uh,
she's not a toy, right?
she is not. She's a lamp thing.
She's a lampstand for his little sister. So
Hmm.
why it doesn't exactly make sense there. There's a little logic issue there.
When a toy and a lampstand love
Maybe
each other very much.
maybe it's
Yeah.
just Andy uses it so like it's kind of like it gives life
It's
to it or
kind of a
whatever.
toy. Yeah.
That goes into
We're we're not getting to
why are
that
they
crappy
alive?
Pixar theory bull crap. We're not super Coen
I
brothers and
wasn't
that
going into that.
trash.
I wasn't going into that. I wasn't wanting to go into that. Anyways, so
Yeah.
they realize they gotta see what happens with this party, right? So they
Yeah.
get the army men to go out. This is a really cool scene where they go out and they kind of hide in the lamp, or not
They
the
use
lamp, the
the
plant,
baby
the potted plant.
monitors.
Now, as a kid, I would always get army men and stick them in the plants at my house, and they would
Nice.
be everywhere.
Not
And
the one thing I noticed about that was the potted plant. There's a little tag on the plant, like from the store, and it said like fantasy forest or something.
yeah,
So it's kind of like a little meme. Like there are fantasy toys in a little fantasy forest. It looks like Vietnam for a second
it
whenever it
looks like
shows them.
see, like, actually, Toy Story is actually an allegory to Vietnam.
It is though.
It's a deep
Uh,
seated analogy.
yeah,
No,
it's all geopolitical.
it's also that's the thing here. So
Yeah, we'll get Alex Jones on the podcast
that would
sometime.
be
That would
an
be
impressive
interesting.
feat. I would say.
Just tell him you want to talk about geopolitics and toy and kids movies.
And yeah, well,
He'll
all
be
right.
here.
So, so they set up shop. They put this little like walkie-talkie, which is funny. And there's this whole operation where they're like, "All right, we're gonna set it up," and they're all sitting back in the room, and they're like, "Oh man, is there anything you want to talk about here?" Because it's just like,
I did notice that those kids got very excited when Andy got bed sheets. They like their cheers audibly
and the funny
went
thing,
up.
the joke that I still laugh at today is, but they said, "Who invited that kid?" Like, really, who really invited that? Like, that's still funny to me today. I don't know why. That's a funny joke.
I felt that way as a child. Someone
You
brought me
didn't
bed
like,
sheets.
you wouldn't invite them the next time, would you?
Yeah.
They would get
You gotta do
on the
better than
uninvite
that.
list.
Thing is, bed sheets cost more than like most cool toys would have
That's
back
true.
in '95.
You could have gotten like a small little like.
Oh, I just realized those bed sheets were probably the Buzz Lightyear bed sheets.
Ah,
That he got
wow!
later.
We just realized this. This is a discovery. That really is.
What kind of kid is going to spend more money to buy Andy a Buzz Lightyear bed sheet?
Did not buy him the actual action.
I guarantee you, Buzz Lightyear costs less than those bed sheets.
No, look, listen. Nah, you know how like
That's a
when
sucky
you're,
kid.
listen to this. When you're, it's not the kid. I don't think it was a kid. Listen to this.
It's probably the parents.
That's right. You know how like when you're little and you got like a big thing, they like lead you up to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They put like little tiny things to be hints to it. They'd be like lame like bed sheets.
Yeah.
Wow. So this actually, I wonder if that was intentional.
But Andy
the
didn't
bed
seem
sheets thing.
into Buzz Lightyear before.
I mean,
I guess they just
in the
figured that he
original
would like him.
script, he was
He's got
already
a
watching the
low-key
TV
fetish.
show.
He's got a fetish for Tim Allen. Can't wait for a Tim Allen controversy to erupt.
Oh, they probably already have.
That's
So
good.
they're all excited. They're like, yeah, you know, there's nothing bad. There's not a big dinosaur or whatever Rex says.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh no, it's a surprise. And they all freak out again.
Yeah. Because they know the surprises are a big deal.
And the batteries fall out and they're all just going crazy. And they're like, oh, they're coming up. Like, oh boy, this is like a big, lead up.
Actually, pause. This as a kid was where I learned how to put batteries into things. Because it said plus
they
is
do
positive,
it wrong.
Minus is negative, you idiot. That's the quote. That's also where I learned the word idiot as a child.
Wow. This taught you. This is maturing for you. This is played into you being matured.
It really grew my character.
So
yeah,
they all rush in. For some reason, they all rush in with him. I guess they're hype about it too.
They're hype about Buzz. And
they throw down the box.
Mm-hmm.
And Woody's sitting on the bed and he pushes him off, which is really that's sad. He kind of flops off.
Yep. Well, there wasn't enough room on the bed for two toys.
There definitely wasn't enough room.
Yeah.
And he's just
Andy was being a little jerk.
A little stinker is what he was being. A little 6-year-old stinker is what he was being. He is 6 in this movie, which he looks a little older, but he is canonically 6 in this movie. So.
Canonically?
Yeah.
There's a canon.
The lore,
what's in the legends?
The lore.
Okay.
So
yeah, this is a great part where Buzz comes out, and he's all
another
like,
dead stare. Where he's well, it's intended to be that way. That's why they made this toys, because it's easy to animate. You know, it's great if they look dead stare, because that's what
you can
they do.
You can get away with stuff.
Yeah.
And so all the toys come up and they're all checking out Buzz, and Woody is like, he's just trashing Buzz before he even knows him, really.
I know. He knows. Woody, he knows what's coming.
He knows. He's got knocked off the bed, right? and so he's like, yeah, you can't fly. He's like, he presses a little button, the little wings pop out. Everyone's like, whoa, check this boy out. And what follows is the most amazing sequence in all of cinema,
What is that? The flying or the?
where Buzz Lightyear steps on a Hot Wheels car
That's
and
right.
does a loop de loop.
Well, I want to talk about kind of the conversation that they have. They're like, "Where are you
Okay,
from?" You know, I'm from play school and all
I'm from
that
play
kind of
school.
stuff.
See, I don't remember stuff like that.
Me neither,
It
and
sounds
it's really
familiar.
funny now. And
Yeah.
also, there's a joke that I would never gotten when he's like, "Oh, he's got a laser," and
Oh,
and
a
potato
laser!
and potato says a laser in me. Like that's a little adult, I think.
What are you trying to say about Buzz's laser?
He's it's his button, the nuclear button, you know.
Uh huh.
It's like same kind of thing there.
Oh boy,
So yeah, he does this little flying thing.
it's
He's like, "You
great.
can't fly," which he really doesn't fly.
He doesn't
To
fly, but it's
Woody's
still
credit,
pretty freaking impressive.
but Woody's being a
And then he lands on the bed, and he just
yeah,
lands right in front of Woody's face, and he points his
and
freaking
dang,
finger in his
whew,
face, and he says, "Can," and it's the greatest moment.
it really is.
It's fantastic.
And if you notice, like when it's up on his face, like when there's close-ups on his face, when while you know he's like flying
Hmm.
around with like the airplane or whatever, and it's like
Yeah,
different music and different sound effects.
yeah. I
Right,
thought that.
you kind of get in his head, which is a cool kind of
Yeah,
thing that they do
that
there.
animation also looked pretty good for '95.
That's
Like
right.
this part, and at the end when Woody has all the wind flying through his mouth.
Yeah,
Like I feel like they definitely diverted animators to work on that for
they
days,
they
and
definitely
they got it right.
they spent a few months on those few shots. No,
Yeah,
so that's
I
pretty
think I
impressive.
heard somewhere that it took just days and days to render out shots
That's yeah.
back then.
There's tons
It
of
was
stuff
just
on YouTube.
brutal.
There's tons of stuff on
Yeah,
YouTube about the making of this movie, which I think is really cool and interesting because that's not really they don't really do that anymore. I guess because it was kind of like a leap towards kind of an animation
hmm,
revolution or whatever you want to call it. So I think that's really cool. I've watched a lot of those videos, and yeah. So
all right. What happens next?
we are introduced
Yeah, and
to
then this. Wait. What are we introduced to?
Sid. Oh no, we do the strange things
Yeah, I was
montage.
about to say because
Randy
Andy
Newman,
starts
the
playing.
legend.
Yeah,
Well, there's not
Andy.
really much to talk about. It's just you know it's a little montage. It's like a
It's
Rocky montage. You know,
more of Andy being a little stinker.
being a little stinker.
Yeah,
Well, you
and
know this is
also
yeah
I noticed at the end of that song he goes to sleep with Buzz Lightyear,
yeah
which is a terrible idea. Buzz
yeah
Lightyear is way less soft and cushy than Woody,
yeah.
and he's got his face up against him. I'm like, that kid's gonna have marks on his face. He's gonna look like a little freak.
That's right.
He's not a
So
very smart boy, this Andy.
that's right. So basically, this is like real life, right? Like this is extremely believable. You go through like as you're a kid, you go through like phases of like things that you like,
Yeah.
you know, and you switch or whatever. And
Hmm.
this is kind of a cool take on you know what if you're the one that's forgotten or whatever, or pushed to the
Yeah.
side. So that's like I don't know,
Again, it's
not
got that
really.
connection.
I don't can think of any movies that did this before.
It's
Like this could have just been like a basic storyline
yeah, and
with
the thing
yeah.
about Toy Story is it's got like that personal connection to it that movies like freaking Bugs Life. You know, nobody likes freaking ants. Okay,
No,
no one's gonna
okay, we're gonna.
connect with an ant.
That's next episode. We don't need to
I'm
take
just saying.
shots. Take
I'm
shots.
comparing, making comparisons, seeing what Toy
Comparisons.
Story's doing right. It's relatable.
That's well. I'm glad you're talking good about it, but I don't know about trashing on Bugs Life.
I don't think Bugs Life. We'll save it. We'll save it. We'll talk about Bugs Life next time.
So after this, we're introduced to, I guess, the villain, kind of maybe
Sid,
Sid
Sid,
Phillips.
with the combat Carl.
That's right. And
Hmm.
they're all kind of oh no, he's a bad kid or whatever.
Right.
But is he really?
Yeah.
But no, let's look in the real world. Is this really a bad kid?
Yes.
Is he just creative? You know?
He's kind of a jerk. He's a jerk to his sister.
Well, that's like all little kids, you know?
I mean,
I don't think
sure he's young.
he likes a little death metal, you know? Nothing wrong with that, you know?
He's an edgy, violent little child.
But, we grow out of these things. It's another phase, like Andy's
I
going
didn't
through,
go
but it's
through
just
that
different.
phase. Andy
I'm just
doesn't go
saying,
through
some
phases.
people do.
Okay.
I don't. Nah, he's just
maybe
creative.
Sid's not a bad guy.
He's creative. He is very creative.
He's a troubled child that's creative.
It's whatever.
Okay, we'll just say Sid's not the bad guy. Ham and Potato Head are the bad guys.
Really?
They're the
I'm not.
antagonists.
No, I'm not gonna say he's not the bad guy. Maybe Woody's the bad guy.
Woody is also very much so the bad guy at multiple parts of this film.
That's right.
Are we at Pizza Planet yet?
That's right. Well, we're going to. They're deciding.
Yeah.
His mom, Mrs. Davis, suggests Pizza Planet. And it's like, oh yeah, and I already talked about Disney. Disney, that was the junk. We'll talk about it never mind. When we get to Pizza Planet, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the scene where Woody, quote unquote, pushes Buzz out the window.
Well, before that all goes down, you see him accidentally knock the little ball behind the desk, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna push Buzz behind the desk," and Woody's
he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna be able to find him for like 5 minutes, and I'll just go."
Yeah,
and then he'll find him when he comes back.
But then it kind of goes too far.
It goes too far, which is kind of a convoluted type scene here.
It still had the same effect, but it went too far.
It went too far. He went a little step too far on accident. And they're all like on him. And we talk about how in the original script, they have this is called the Black Friday reel. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, it's
you
really
have
good.
Where Woody deliberately throws them out. He just throws them out.
Them. Yeah.
And doesn't even try to act like he didn't. He owns up to it. He's like,
he says, "What are you gonna
so
do about
what?
it?
What are you gonna do about it?"
He tells Slinky to like that he belongs in Goodwill or something.
Or hero of the story.
Yeah. He's like, if it wasn't for me, Andy would never play with you and you'd be in Goodwill.
Wow.
And it's just savage.
I know.
I watched it again after I watched Toy Story because I remembered that. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a little messed up.
It's
glad they changed it. And John Lasseter himself, the man. John Lasseter makes most of these movies. Mm-hmm. And he was even like, nah, we don't need to show this.
It's too much. It's
so
over the top.
We get that. So he actually just accidentally does. And Potato Head threatens him to hang him.
He says hang him.
He uses the Etch-a-Sketch.
Hang him up by his string.
And he uses the Etch-a-Sketch. It went farther than that. He used the Etch-a-Sketch.
Drew it. I remember that.
That's
some good
explicit
stuff. Toy Holocaust, man.
Explicitly. Whew. Getting a little heated.
Oh, boy. That was rough. Yeah. And so Andy comes back in.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll take Woody."
I guess I'll take Woody.
And
it's like, is that really the victory?
He's a stinker in here too.
Like,
but he is a kid. He's 6 years old.
Yeah.
Who can blame?
He also doesn't know his toys are alive and have feelings. So
they also don't in real life. Well, not
what?
Sorry, they do.
Oh crap. Okay, so they go to pizza, or no, they go to the gas station first.
Well, yeah. Buzz catches up, of course.
He catches a ride, I guess, on the back of the van.
Yeah,
and then comes in through the sunroof.
So, do you recognize this gas station they stop at?
It says Dynaco.
Dynaco,
which is the thing from Cars.
That's right. It's all connected.
It's the sponsor from Cars.
I think that's a cool little tidbit. I like how they do stuff like that. It's a different logo and everything, but
yeah,
it's still cool to reference.
Yeah. And so Buzz drops in through the window, and he has a little fly. on his mask.
Yeah,
And I thought that when I was a kid, I thought that was the nastiest thing in the world.
really. A fly? A squished fly?
I thought it was so nasty. I don't know why. But they have this little argument, and Woody's trying to like be like, Buzz, you'll forgive me, right? And Buzz is like, yeah, I forgive people on my planet, but we're not on my planet, are we?
Yeah.
It's and I noticed there was a big continuity error. I'm pretty sure
Where I think I noticed this too.
they cut something out for sure, because after that, Buzz just knocks them out of the van, but they're
Yeah.
nowhere near the edge of the seat.
That's right. And the
In the
door's
shot
not even
before.
open. Why would the door be open?
Hmm. Yeah, well, Andy got out of the back.
But they would have shut it.
I don't know.
It's a gas station at
We've
night.
established Andy has an IQ of about 12.
No,
so-
he's just a little stinker, I think.
So you're saying Kevin Spacey's at the gas
I
station?
think his mom would have
looking
been
for-
like, shut that door,
Andy.
boy. Shut that door.
yeah,
But no, he pushed him out of the door. The door's not open.
Yeah.
Whatever.
it's
That's
a little
error.
continuity error.
But they
and
probably spent some months on that, so they probably weren't worrying about
I feel like I
if the door was
remember
open or not.
seeing like a behind the scenes or something where I remember they cut something out of that conversation. And so they fight for a little bit and then they get left.
That's right.
Then-
They get left. Well, actually, Buzz explains what what he thinks he's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's literally the plot of A New Hope.
That's what I was
It's
saying.
literally
he's
the plot.
He's the R2D2 of the of the story.
I guess
He's
they
carrying
can
the
get away with
plans.
that because they exported their movie to like Skywalker Sound to do work on it, and they're like,
Well, no, it's
"Ah!"
just. I mean, it's just a little reference. I mean, it's not anything to get crazy about.
Yeah, but they weren't gonna be in any kind of trouble or anything. They're all friends.
That's right. They're all buddies. They're buddy.
They're all buddies.
They also, I don't know when this is. There's a blaster sound from Star Wars
Really?
at some point. The exact sound. I can't remember what part it is,
Wow.
but
That's
there
shocking.
is. I think I wrote it down somewhere. Maybe
Did they use like an actual soundbite, or did they use like
This is the actual
spring
sound.
foil and make a similar sound?
Oh, I know what it. Okay, it comes up later. It's when he's watching the ad, and he shoots the laser in the advertisement.
Oh,
It uses that sound to make it, sound like it's the actual sound if you go back and listen to it.
oh, okay.
So that's where they had that in Skywalker Sound or whatever, and they're just like, oh, we'll reuse this because it sounds
Yeah, we'll
realistic
just
or
throw that
whatever.
in there.
Sounds sci-fi and whatever.
Yeah, you meme on my movie, I'll meme on yours.
That's right. So they go to Pizza Planet, which is the coolest place
It
ever.
is. They have an aliens reference in there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Where he pushes out I didn't even think about that.
They have a little space.
It's so cemented into, I guess, everything that I didn't even notice.
Yeah. I didn't notice that until last time I watched it. I'm like, oh, that's Alien. That's the little baby xenomorphs.
That's right.
coming
That's
out of
pretty
the
cool.
dude.
It's pretty
And
cool. So
I think the title of the game was like something versus Alien. So it was definitely a direct reference.
well, that's good. They had that at the actual. I'll talk about Disney World a little bit because they've tore this down recently. Well, not tore it down. They repurposed it to a Muppets pizza place, which I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Muppets, but I always loved. The first thing I want to go was Pizza Planet, and they had this alien hit 'em thing or whatever you want to call it, whack-a-mole alien.
I would play that game.
And they had it, and they had like a little picture of Buzz and Woody on it or whatever, just to oh, this is from the movie. And they used to have for a few years. They took it down. It was really early on when I was little, and they took it out for some reason. The actual claw,
Oh,
the
wow.
actual
I would've loved that
rocket-shaped,
as a kid.
rocket-shaped. It was rocket-shaped. It even had little aliens. They weren't like, rubber. They were like plushies, but still, it was still filled with little aliens from the movie.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the coolest thing. But they took it down a long time ago,
Gosh, that is cool.
which is odd. It must have had some operating issues or something with this shape because it was very oddly shaped because it is a spaceship shape.
Yeah.
But it was like the centerpiece, and they kind of took it out. So I was like, whatever. It's still a cool little area. It was a cool area, but I haven't been in the new one. I don't care enough about Muppets to go eat there, and it's. Like I said, the pizza wasn't really even that good. It was just.
Dang.
It was just all right. So they hide in. Looks like Buzz hides in a little like burger box.
Yeah. He's in like a cup or something.
Or something like that. And they sneak in. They're like, oh, we're going to just sneak on. But then he's like, oh, there's a rocket. And he's like, Buzz, you're an idiot. So he goes over. They get stuck in the rocket, right? And lo and behold, Sid comes there.
Oh, boy.
Coincidentally.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
And by the way, this is the least... If you've never done a claw machine before, this is absolutely how they do not work at all.
That's right. Because, look, it still grabs on, right?
Oh, it actually
it's still
has
hanging.
Like, grip power, which is something...
Yeah, it's still hanging on.
Yeah.
For plot convenience, but it's still a good little, thing.
Not only does Sid win twice, the second time, Woody is pulling Buzz out the opposite direction, and it manages to pull all of them up.
Yeah.
That would never happen at any claw machine on the planet.
This is the claw. What are you talking about? This is the
I guess
claw.
we're on Pizza Planet, so what do I know?
The claw.
The claw. That's great. That's a great moment. I love that.
That's right. The aliens. Let's talk about this.
Uh-huh.
They were the old school minions, but not as bad, right?
Minions are way more over the top, though.
But I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. This is kind of I'm sure they're a derivative of it. The minions were.
Yeah, the minions were. Yeah, they came from this.
So that's kind of, I don't know, and they weren't really focused on. They're in the second movie for a little bit, which is kind of odd. But they're the little cute thing or whatever.
Yeah,
they get toys of or whatever.
Too.
That's right. For some reason, they're squeezed in there. You don't know why. They don't need to.
Yeah. So yeah, Sid gets them out of the claw machine. Gets Buzz and Woody. He's like, "Oh yeah, double prizes!" And so he throws them in his little knapsack. He says, "Let's go home and play." It's a wonderful voice actor that plays Sid.
I just remembered how he said that line, and now I see what you're talking about.
It's iconic. It's an iconic line.
Right.
And he skateboards home. He's obviously out without his parents.
That's right. This is a bad thing. This is where he's bad. This is the first time he's done a bad thing, in my opinion.
Wait, when he feeds the...
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. No, I don't care about that. Because it's a chew toy. It's a chew toy. Right. When he's out without his parents.
So that's worse than feeding a sentient being into the mouth of a dog.
Look, he doesn't know that.
You truly grew up with Toy Story. You're a messed up person.
I know. I'm a messed up person.
All right.
But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so he feeds the toy to the dog. And I guess he survives because we see him later.
Yeah, we see him later.
And he runs upstairs.
Yeah.
And he steals Hannah's doll toy, right?
Yeah.
And he rips its head off and puts a pterodactyl head on it. He's like, Hannah's better now, and makes his sister scream. And then they make Buzz and Woody are still in the knapsack on the bed, and they're just watching them. All the toys mess with them. He's like, "Oh, they're cannibals." And then Buzz is like, "I'm gonna change my laser from stun to kill." He's like, "Ah, great, yeah, you can blink them to death, right? Yeah." And so this is one of the points where the animation is absolutely abysmal.
I don't know why you say that, because I think the lighting's really off. It's my thing.
Lighting is cool, but
I don't know if that was meant to be, because it's kind of not realistic, which I guess it doesn't have to be.
There's this shot
where Woody's pants glow or something like that. It's just kind of odd. I mean, he has a black light in there or something. Is there a black light?
But there's this shot where they're in the knapsack,
Yeah.
and Woody's like chattering his teeth, and it's like
Yeah,
literally
that's
it's
now I
jittering
see what you're
between
saying.
two frames, just back and forth with like a sound effect, and I'm
It's a
like,
cartoony little. It's a little cartoony, you know.
it's too cartoony. It doesn't match the style, and it
Yeah, it
looks
doesn't.
really
I agree.
bad.
I agree with that. It doesn't match the style, but back in
That
the
took
day,
me out of the
unless you
film.
really focus on, I don't know about that. If you really focus on it, it's bad. But
I can't help
I think you're
focusing on it.
messing with that. But
I take pictures of Legos every day. I can't help.
you can't. It takes you out.
It does take you out of it.
So this is why it's so great because you can look at the history of this, you know, animation type stuff.
And yeah, Woody meets this. Oh yeah, this is the part that I really hated as a kid. Was all these creepy toys when I was really
Right.
little, like that
You
the
really
little
didn't like
spider
this.
thing with the baby doll head.
You didn't like that.
I didn't like that.
I don't know.
Really,
I was never really scared. I guess because I've seen this movie like 50,000 times.
right.
So I guess I really wasn't scared of anything in this movie.
And at this point, usually when I was a kid, I had cut off the movie by now.
This is where this will be the color. So limited, you know,
Yeah,
knowledge of this
yeah,
these scenes. So yeah.
yeah.
So
You can probably start talking now because I know less about it than you would.
well, he goes. We get to the point where Sid kind of is messing with Woody. He
Yeah,
throws
that
him.
was funny.
He said,
That's a
"Where's the
funny
rebel
scene.
base?"
Yeah,
That's another reference
yeah.
to
To
Star Wars.
some strange, obscure science fiction franchise.
Yeah, but also this was extended. This scene was extended before,
Oh, really?
which is really odd. It's kind of weird, where he got like a drill, and he taped Buzz to it, and he spun it, and he saw the G forces are too much, and he like flew him off,
That's cool.
and and then and he pulls his string, Woody string before, and he says, and Woody says a line. This is really off for him. He says, "I'd like to join your posse, boys, but first I'm gonna sing a little song."
Whoa.
So that's really off. I don't know why they cut that little part, but it's kind of, I don't know why it's kind of iconic, that deleted scene.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just a line you never hear him say with the pull string.
The one thing I remember from this scene, the few times I watched it when I was little, was Buzz Lightyear had a freaking plunger thing stuck on his face and one on his butt. That's the only.
And
I
you
thought
that was
so funny
funny
when I was little.
You thought that was funny.
I thought it was
So
a good little
yeah,
meme.
so he gets a magnifying glass and puts it up to his head, right? And it burns a little thing, like he's like, oh man, he's torturing
Gives
him
him a
or whatever.
little Hindu dot.
I don't know about that, but when I was little, I actually did this with a Woody that I had,
No.
or tried to
No.
at least try, because I
you
wanted to be.
sympathize with Sid. You sympathize with Sid because you were Sid.
No, that's the only part. That's the only thing, because I want to be
Oh my
accurate.
God. You are the worst person.
I wanted to see if
How
it
could
worked.
you do that?
I wanted to see if it worked. And I
try
wanted to
it
see if
out
it was
on,
accurate.
like,
I
an
want to make
ant
him
or
accurate.
something.
I wanted to make it accurate.
You want to make
I don't
it
think I ever
canon?
ended up doing it. I think I tried to do it, but it didn't work. I don't think it actually works on that type of plastic. I don't think it actually.
That is terrible.
I think it just catches on fire, which I didn't want to catch them on fire.
Did
So I
you,
think we just
though?
did. I think I eventually did it on ants.
Oh my goodness.
So
What happens
It's a-
next?
and it's funny because he's like, "Sid, your Pop Tarts are ready." I guess he's
Sid, your Pop Tarts are ready. All right. Yeah, or something like that. And he just throws the toys
that's-
down.
That's really funny. Like that
remember-
kind of shows like he's not really
That-
bad. He's not really bad. Like he's bad in their eyes, but like, is he really?
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. So when I was little, my mom's a nutritionist, right? So we never had like Pop Tarts or anything. And this movie made me want to get Pop Tarts
Really?
because of that line. Because
Because that line.
he
He was so
excited.
hype about him.
I was like, Pop Tarts must be amazing. I gotta have these.
I know, if you're gonna stop torturing toys, for Pop Tarts, I mean, they must be pretty good,
Right?
So they're actually terrible. I don't like Pop Tarts, personally. We're gonna talk. I'm not a big fan. Unless you like the s'more ones, you know.
You like the
Like
toaster strudels?
Specific. Oh yes. Now
Toaster
those
strudels
are
are good. Those are good.
A1. That is on the money, right there.
Yep.
I had those probably when I was watching Toy Story.
Wow.
Probably ate those. I used to eat those a lot when I was little.
Wow.
Anyways, so what happens next? We get to, I guess they get separated.
Yeah, they run out of the room, and like
Well, he gets his karate
downstairs.
chop action,
Yeah, they use the karate chop action,
which is very plot convenient, right? And I had a Buzz toy that specifically had the karate chop action. It's the only thing he could do.
Mine didn't. I remember I had a Buzz toy that couldn't do that, and that made me
Well, I
mad.
know none of them did, but this specific one I had just had that, and it could do nothing else
Oh wow.
because it was a
That's
small
the coolest part. The wish thing, and
one. The whoosh thing, yeah, the whoosh. We'll talk about the whoosh thing.
the wish thing, and the karate chop were the coolest parts.
Yeah,
Everyone else was just worried about making the wings work. The
I
wings
know,
are
but
lame.
the whoosh,
I want
the
the
whoosh thing.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
That's what Woody brings up as the coolest part. So it
is
must
the
be cool.
coolest part. They wake up the dog is what splits them up.
That's right. And this dog, we'll talk about the dog, Scud. I guess
He
is
is
his name.
he is a pure plot device. And
But he is awful
tongue looks
looking. This is the only
nasty.
thing I'll say is awful looking about the
doesn't look
animation.
good at all.
His eyes are just too much.
Like the scene where he's sleeping and they wake him up, his mouth is open, his tongue's hanging out. It looks terrible.
Yeah, that's just
So-
it's just
Woody runs into the closet, and Buzz runs
closet.
into like this like I guess man cave or something.
man. It's just a living room, I would assume.
Well, his dad is like sleeping on the couch or something,
Yeah,
and
Well-
that's where Buzz sees the commercial.
that's right. He sees the commercial for. Did you notice what it was for? Like what Toy Story it was?
It was Al's
Advertising.
Toy Barn.
Al's. That's a really cool little thing
I
there.
wonder if they were like universe building in advance. If they
I
already
don't.
had
I
sort of
think
an
that was just a
idea.
throwaway. I think that was just a throwaway thing.
I don't
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that
know.
came
They
up.
did they made the exact same set in Toy Story 2 with the Buzz Lightyears that you see
That's
at the end of the
right.
commercial. So I don't know.
So you don't. I
Interesting.
guess they already had it in an idea
They had an idea of what
and just
Toy
threw it
Story
in
2
there,
could be.
and then
They
they're
at
like,
least
oh,
had
okay.
a concept of how it would go.
So that's kind of cool to see that before, and back then when I was a kid, I didn't know that Toy Story 2 came out. And I didn't think about that, I didn't think about how movies were made,
No.
You just don't think about that kind of stuff. You're just like, okay, I was Toy Barn. It's a thing that exists. All right, whatever, move on.
And so, yeah, this is one of the best scenes in the movie, which I also hated when I was little, but I love now.
What is it?
It's where Buzz walks up to the railing, and the music starts swelling. It's really good.
That's right. This is
It
really
gave me
emotional.
chills the last time
This is really.
I watched.
This is a cool thing. The music, of course, complements it.
It's very good. The music makes it.
Randy Newman.
The facial animation is really good. It sells it. It sells Buzz's emotions really well. And he jumps off, and he flies for a second, and then he breaks his arm off. And that I hated that when I was little. That's another reason I didn't like it.
Right.
I didn't like Buzz breaking his arm off and then him going crazy. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, that's kind of an odd thing, but it's funny now. Now that it's a funny.
Now it's a good chuckle. It's a good.
It's a
meme.
good. Yeah, it's funny, but back then it was kind of like, oh no,
It's like, oh, that's weird and terrible.
Yeah, so
That's
he's
another reason I
Mrs.
didn't like
Nesbit. Mrs. Nesbit.
Nesbit. Oh yeah.
This is probably one of the funniest parts.
This is.
You see
this
the
is
hat?
where- And so Woody comes out of the closet, right? And there's
Yeah.
this bowling ball that falls on his face, and he's
Yeah.
totally fine. And I thought about it. I was like, earlier in the movie, they make this big dramatic tension as the truck pulls up to Woody's face as he's about to get run over. Would that
Yeah,
have
that's
even
right. We didn't
mattered?
talk about that.
That's another continuity error. Is that shot?
Well, do they feel pain?
I don't know.
He definitely does because he said the thing burned when he was
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't think the writers put that much thought into it.
I don't think they did either, but we're putting this much thought into it.
But the truck at the gas station, it pulls up towards Woody, and it's not the first tire that's about to run over him. It's like the second one back.
Oh, I didn't even
I'm
think
just
about
like,
that. So how
did that happen? The truck was coming straight on. It doesn't make any sense.
It already ran over his face. We didn't see that, but
Yeah, it ran over his face the first time. It didn't matter because toys can just take it.
because they're invincible.
They're invincible. They're indestructible, except for in Toy Story 3. And you can just go in a fire pit.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk because I got some problems with Toy Story 3.
Save it.
So he has this midlife crisis. Mm-hmm. He snaps him out of it or whatever, I guess.
It takes him a long time to snap him out of it.
That's right.
Because he drags them back to Sid's room, and they talk to the toys from across.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, Buzz is over here. We're fine. Help us over with the lights. And this is where Mr. Potato Head and Hank are real. They're real antagonists.
That's right.
They just throw
he
it
calls
down.
him he calls him a son of a build, or he calls somebody a son of a building block.
Yeah.
So I mean that's whew.
That's edgy for a kid's movie.
Yeah.
And yep.
So this is
the
they
best
all
part of
believe
that
they all
scene-
believe that Buzz is over there, right? The arm. They all believe that that's him.
They believe it for
until
a second.
Woody's an idiot and puts
then
his arms
Woody's
up.
like, I'm not hiding nothing, and it shows his dismembered arm.
Wow. That's really terrifying.
Yeah. Especially for a toy, right? And so
Really, because it's like somebody's literally throwing somebody's arm up, like
yeah. So Woody is
dismembered
literally-
arm.
It's like if you cut off somebody's arm and just started playing with it to convince them that he was fine. And so the best part of the scene is whenever Slinky, at the end, whenever all the other toys leave, Slinky just, Woody's like begging. He's like, Slinky.
I know, and you already know this. Like they've established this.
And yeah, it's a good payoff. And then Slinky's just like, nope,
Slinky just like,
closes the
nope,
blinds
it's
on
like-
him. And then it's really good.
Yeah, this is
Made
some
me
really
sick.
good emotion. So it's like, Buzz, how are we going to get out of here? You know.
And Buzz is still depressed at this point. He's not.
That's
doing,
right.
This is where the toys fix him. They fix his arm.
That's right. The odd toys,
Yeah. They figure out that
which
they're not
aren't
cannibals.
bad, which is kind of a thing, like a surprise. Oh man, they're not bad or whatever.
Yeah. But they put themselves back together in the creepiest ways. You know, they could have done a better job.
They could have done a little better job of not terrorizing somebody, but I get the theme. Not everything, you know, as they seem or whatever.
Does putting a toy back together kind of mess with the rules? Because Sid's going to come back, and the toy he messed up earlier is going to be fixed. That's weird.
I don't know. We're thinking too much of this again.
Yeah.
What
I
is
don't think Sid
alive?
cares.
What is
Sid's
alive?
just a child.
What is life?
Oh yeah, and he gets they fix Buzz, and then Sid gets the big one.
The big one.
Oh
Which he orders or something offline, I assume.
Which means his parents gave him their credit card.
That's
Actually,
right. To
no,
buy.
It probably wasn't offline because this was a long time ago.
That's
Probably
right.
Didn't have internet. They
We
probably
didn't even.
ordered it in a
That's
magazine
how
or
young we
something.
are. Wow, we're idiots. So he orders it. Whatever he orders it, still.
Yeah.
And somehow he picks it up or whatever.
Yep.
Which I guess they're fine with, but it's not for children. But I guess they don't care.
Yeah. Woody hides under a crate to get away from it, and Buzz just doesn't care. So
He doesn't care, right?
He's just like, yeah,
Because he's
kill me.
still like.
He's still depressed. Yeah. He's not talking or anything. And so he straps Buzz up to it, and Woody's hiding underneath the crate, and he's watching all of this.
Yeah.
It's like a terror. It's like he's watching a doctor put together a Frankenstein or something. It's got
that's
those little
referenced a
vibes.
lot.
It's
That's
got the little
referenced a lot.
lightning and the rain and stuff.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
But and then he realizes it's raining, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh man, I can't go out and do it, but we'll do it tomorrow." And he has this weird clock. What is that clock? There's an arm on it.
It's like somebody.
What?
Did the toys build that as
Like
well?
that's a little too far. That's a little too far to put that
Is the
arm.
clock
on it.
sentient?
No,
In which
definitely.
case- Could the clock just
Why?
be like,
Why
no?
didn't he just stop? Not like, yeah, if it's sentient,
Could the
why would
clock
it
be
not
like, yeah.
be like, hey, let's not blow him
Let's
up?
not wake Sid up. Let's not wake Sid up.
So
All
he
right.
straps him up or whatever, and he has this monologue where he's like, all right, well, you got to help me because
Yeah,
you're
Woody has
really
a
cool.
really great scene with Buzz where he convinces him that Buzz still has purpose.
That's
And
right.
it's really good. And he pushes the Buzz helps him get him out of the little thing because he put the toolbox on top of
Then there's a
the
little
crate.
slapstick thing where he gets out and he's like, oh no, he hits him.
Yeah, and he pushes it off too far because.
Well, I guess there's a purpose with that because now they can't escape really fast.
Yeah,
So I guess there's a purpose to that, but it's a little silly. It's a little slapstick.
yeah. He pushes the thing off, and it doesn't wake Sid up, and his butt cheeks are just flailing in the air. It's the funniest thing in the world. The way he
Yeah.
sleeps. That boy's
Yeah.
gonna have issues when he gets older. But he doesn't wake up, but then the alarm goes off immediately afterwards, so it doesn't.
And he
matter.
does a little fake out. He's like, oh no, now he is. So he goes sets him up, whatever.
And he's like militarizing the toys.
He's like, we gotta save him. But see, they don't. He's like, I'm not gonna save any of you guys. I just want to save my friend. So you guys help me with that, and they just agree.
Yeah. They totally agree. He's like, it'll be beneficial for all of us. You guys should help out. And so they all do it. And
I guess they
plot-
accept like, yeah, that's our owner, and we just kind of have to live with it. But you guys don't belong here. Like we
Yeah.
belong here, but I guess it's a little shared, thinking,
It's mutual thinking.
mutual. Yeah, whatever. So they have this
So-
convoluted plan or
This
the ducky
plan-
thing.
Yes, I'm
And,
convinced the only reason the ducky thing goes through the air ducts is to make that noise because they were so proud of that noise. 'Cause it sounded
That is
so
a cool noise.
realistic.
That's a cool noise.
That's the only reason they used the ducky thing.
That is a cool noise. Well, he looks kind of like the lamp when he like replaces himself with the lamp.
Yeah,
He kind of looks like the lamp.
that's true.
Not the lamp, the lightning bulb that's
And then-
outside of the door.
Woody calls the fishing rod toy legs or something.
Yeah,
Those big old legs from a Barbie doll or something.
yeah.
And the string is the perfect length to get
That's
to
right.
get this toy. And I was like, okay, it's fine. It's a cartoon. But then they do this wind up frog thing.
Yeah, and they have
make
all of them
this
attached
giant
to the.
skateboard
Train.
thing. And
Yeah.
at that point, I was like, this is just getting a little silly. And the
It's
sister,
it's a little cool, little creative, fun sequence though.
but the sister is like always in the perfect place. The dog, it just wouldn't have worked out. There's no way that all those pieces really came together. to
Yeah,
sync
there's
up.
a little suspension of disbelief you have to.
There were too many loose ends that they didn't account
Yeah.
that just worked out perfectly.
So they go through. They're outside. Whatever. They made it outside. Woody kind of lies on the ground. And Sid for some reason notices him and cares
Yeah.
enough to pick him up and
Right.
mess them a little bit. And he puts the little
The match in his holster.
match in there, which comes back later, but ultimately does nothing later. Also,
A lot of psych outs in this movie.
a lot of fake setups and
Yeah.
So he sets him on the grill. He's like, "We're gonna grill you," that's really kind of
Yeah.
I don't know,
You
that's
still
a
think
little
Sid
demeaning.
is a
Nah,
good kid?
I mean,
Change
I think
your mind?
he's. Nah, I mean, I don't know. He's not terrible. He's not an antagonist, I don't think. I mean, he is an antagonist in this movie, but
Yeah.
he wouldn't be. He's kind of an annoying little kid. That's creative, though. He's creative. So he's about to set off Buzz, and he's like,
This
"Oh,
is
no."
too much. This is
is-
where
They
Woody.
traumatize this kid. See, look, does he deserve this?
Wait, hold up. Before that,
Okay,
when,
before that.
when he's about to light this match, Woody
Right.
waits till the last second, and Buzz is already freaking out. He's like,
know.
"Woody, help me out!"
Did you
And he's
just?
like,
Did you
"No,
want the
I've got this under
tackle, Buzz?
control."
He's gonna pull his leg a little bit, like I'll wait till last minute, just so. I think it's
literally
because
the
that
match-
that jealousy is still a little bit there.
He's messing with him. He kind of
So
hopes
he
that
just-
Buzz blows up.
Darn, too late.
Woody still hates Buzz,
Uh-oh.
and he waits till the last second, where literally the flame is like touching the fuse.
Yeah,
And
and he's
at,
so he
that's assuming that Sid would pull back the thing anyway to see what it was, and he wouldn't just keep
right.
going. So
Yeah,
luckily, this loose end also fixes itself, and he doesn't do anything. And he goes over to check out Woody.
yeah, and he's like, oh,
Yeah, this is where it gets. A
he's like,
little
why are you
much.
talking? And then he traumatizes this kid.
Oh yeah, this kid's messed up forever now.
He does the exorcist thing where his head spins around.
Hmm.
Whew.
He even at the end he like moves his mouth and makes facial expressions. He's
That's.
like, play
But
nice.
does he deserve this? This is supposed to be a triumphant
No.
moment for us. But does he
Well,
deserve? See, does he deserve this?
I don't I don't think so. But was there any other way to stop Sid?
I guess not. I guess
Yeah,
it had to
actually,
be
you know
done.
what? There was. There
Necessary
was.
evil.
Listen,
There
listen to
was. What
this.
was it?
Whenever Woody ran up to Buzz, instead of saying, "Wait, I got this," he helps
Yeah.
Buzz, and they run away.
They just run away.
And then there's not this emotionally scarred kid anymore, and the toys at his house can keep fixing themselves. Except for the Combat Carl, he's gone.
Oh, poor Well, there would be more combat Carls. They had to stop it, I guess.
They
So
have
maybe
to end Combat Carl's suffering.
maybe he learned a lesson. He wouldn't have learned a lesson if they should have
No,
left. You know.
he didn't learn a lesson. That kid is messed up for
Now he's even. Ooh. Well, we see later what happens to him in 3, but
That's true.
supposedly. But
Yeah. We don't.
anyways,
Oh yeah,
that's right.
I
we
got to
don't
take
do that.
this moment to mention how bad Sid looks. He looks
Oh yeah,
awful.
he's not that great. The humans
Especially
don't
when
really look that great in
he's
general.
like freaking out and flailing around. It looks
Yeah,
terrible.
the
His
animation's
face
pretty
is awful. Oh my
And then
goodness.
again, when Woody says we did it, and he does a little dance, like that's awful too.
We
That's a
did
little.
it, yeah.
That's a
Oh
little
yes,
weird how he
his
dances.
dance. His dance is
Yeah.
terrible. I remember that.
And it was
so
in.
bad.
I'll bring this back to the Toy Story, the SNES game. I don't know if you ever
Mm-hmm.
played this, like notoriously hard.
No, I did not.
And I used to play when I was little, but at the end of a level, when you do it, he would do that dance. And when you pass the level, and it just looks just as bad. Like, and you can
Some of
tell it's the
this
exact
stuff-
one.
Some of the stuff in this movie look like they came from a video game. So maybe the video game was already done. They just copy pasted the animation.
Well, I mean, it was an SNES game, so I mean,
like SNES animation.
no, it definitely was not.
It looks bad.
But
And then they run away. Buzz gets
That's
stuck
right.
on the fence post.
that little unneeded tension, I didn't need that little part where he's like, "Oh man, you're stuck."
They got to keep messing with your expectations.
I know.
Keep subverting
I've-
expectations. It's like the Last Jedi.
This is actually exactly like the Last Jedi. I don't know why.
Kind of is.
A lot of people weren't expecting it.
Yeah. And so the van gets away because Woody tries to help Buzz.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what happened next.
Well,
Goodness, what happened?
this is convoluted. Also, this is very
So-
convoluted. To be
So
fair,
let me think.
they jump on
they
the
missed-
back of the back of the van.
They missed the blue van, right?
Right.
So they start chasing the moving van.
Yeah, and they grab it. They grab it and jump on.
Somehow Woody gets on. Woody gets on the van. Buzz
Yeah,
doesn't
and Buzz
make
is
it.
getting on. He is getting on.
But something happens and Buzz
But
doesn't
then-
make it.
But then the dog comes and
The
follows him
dog,
for some reason.
yeah, the dog stopped him.
Because they did let the dog outside.
They locked the dog outside, and it came back to bite him, literally.
That's right. Literally. And he comes and
Yeah,
Buzz. Do you see what he does to this dog? Do you remember what he does?
he like grabs his eyelid.
He smacks his eyelids. That was brutal. That was brutal, dude.
Oh my goodness.
That was
So-
crazy.
They get in the back of the van, and they get the RC car, and
Right.
they throw Woody out because he's terrible, and they're idiots, and they're not listening to what Woody's saying, and they all just
Yeah.
sort of race away from Spud. He rescues Buzz from under a car. They
Yeah.
run away from Spud. This is where the worst shot in the whole movie happens.
Oh, what's the shot?
So there's this shot where they're running away from Buzz or from Spud, and they run a red light or something, and they make it through all the traffic, but Spud gets stuck in the middle of.
That's
all the
right.
car-
That is
car
really
accident.
awful looking. Yeah.
and the people inside these cars look
Yeah.
awful.
Well, to be fair, I didn't even focus on them. You're the only one that really, I didn't really, and I was
the shot,
analyzing this
I wouldn't
movie.
have noticed, but the shot held for so long because it's panning back so you can see Buzz and Woody escape, right?
Yeah.
But you can see these people in the cars. They're doing the same repetitive animations, and their character models look like something out of a GameCube game.
Really.
Oh my goodness! I guess GameCube was advanced for 1995.
That's right.
If they would have spent a little more time, that would have been good to make it look not half as cancerous. But that's the worst part of the movie.
That's all right. So they've subdued him.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when they throw Woody out, let's go back to that. When he gets thrown off and stuff, and they dogpile him or whatever.
Yeah.
And
for
some reason the RC
car jump.
For some reason, they spin him around. They're like motion controls or something, but it still has.
That was not around in '95.
That was not.
Absolutely.
It was a little cartoony. It was a little slapstick, you know.
This isn't.
Thinking
this
back,
isn't a
this
cartoon.
was still in the mindset of having a cartoon, you know. So
I take my Pixar movies very seriously.
But it's still but they're still thinking in the mindset of 2D animation, where this stuff would happen all the time and stuff like that.
Yeah, they haven't developed their style yet.
Which now it seems out of place in this movie.
Yeah, now it seems
it happens
weird.
a few times. Yeah. But it's good thing they kind of subdued it because it's not a lot in this movie, but there's little subtle things like that that are kind of like, okay, whatever.
And there's a part where RC flies in and hits Potato Head, and he just explodes.
That's later. That's later.
Yeah, that is later.
We get to
this is where
the batteries run out. The batteries, they're running out. You know,
they throw Slinky out the back.
That's right. That's right. Because Slinky actually helps now. Because he's
grown as a character.
Loyal as a dog. I didn't even think about that. He's a dog, and he's loyal.
He's a
I didn't even think
wiener.
about that.
That's what they call him.
In
the Black Friday video.
I forgot about this. They call him a spring wiener. What?
I mean, that's what he is. He's a wiener dog with a big spring in the middle.
I guess, but yeah, I did forget about that line. I was going to bring that up, but I forgot. I think I tried to repress it. A lot of lines in there is odd.
Yeah.
Of course, which makes sense. But anyways, going back to this, they get this thing, and they let down the little, I don't know what it is, a ramp.
A little ramp.
I always thought that was kind of...
That was cool.
I didn't like that when I was little, because I'm like, oh no, it's scratching. I don't like that. They're destroying things.
I don't like
this is doing permanent damage to a truck. I don't like that.
But you did like Sid messing with toys. And
he's creative. Back in that, look, let me preface this then. Back in the day, I really didn't think that. But now, being older, I knew he was the villain back in the day. But now, I'm not so sure. You know?
You're too progressive. To be honest.
I changed my mind. I changed my opinion.
This movie was more progressive than Black Panther.
What? Cut it out. Cut it out. Uh-oh. All right. Anyways.
So Slinky fails. And I noticed when I watched it that his Slinky thing gets stretched way out. And if you've ever had a Slinky before, there's no coming back from that.
Oh, there's not. And they make a joke about that.
Did they? What did they say?
Because he's like laying down and he's like, oh no, and he's like super stretched out and he's like feeling, I don't know. There's kind of like a joke in there where he's they show him after he's all stretched out and stuff, and they kind of like roll him up or whatever, trying to get him back into his original shape.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way that would ever happen.
There's no way.
Yeah, he's going straight to Goodwill. This is where they get left behind, and they have another sad moment because subverted expectations.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh man, I got the match." He likes the match.
Comes full.
And then it just goes out because the car pushes by.
It's amazing.
Says, "Oh no!" But then the setup back in the burning the head thing.
Yeah, they established
that was set up back then. And he's like, "Oh, this is a thing that happens." Where
the fuse magically gets way longer than it was before.
Yeah,
the fuse was really
he can pull it around. He can pull it around, put it in that exact angle.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he kind of does move his head a little bit.
No, the thing just straight stretched way further than it should.
That's true. Yeah, it does. It
The
does a little bit.
animators couldn't figure out a better way to do it. They're just
Well,
like,
it's whatever. I'll suspend my disbelief for that. But it burns. They whoosh out. Ooh, this is a
like,
really famous scene.
I
This is a
lit a
good
rocket.
scene.
Rockets explode.
Yeah, this is quotable. Very quotable scene and very good scene.
This is a great moment. And then they fly way over the truck, and they drop RC off in the truck where he was before.
That's right. Well, first, we get the line comes back where, I'm not flying, falling with style, whatever, that kind of thing. Which is, a memorable quote now.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of what you think with Toy Story.
Yeah.
With the big lines.
Yeah, that's a great moment. That gave me chills. That was the other moment that made me happy.
Gave you chills. Oh,
if I get chills, that means I like the movie. If I don't get chills, I didn't have any emotional response.
Also, hold on, I forgot about this. In the chase kind of scene, you get an inside shot of the car. And it's playing.
Hakuna Matata?
Hakuna Matata, little Disney reference there.
It is.
So when did that actually come out? When did that come out?
Before Toy Story.
Well, I know that, but I mean...
I don't know.
That was the year before, so it was extremely new back then.
So that would be like playing, I don't know. What's the meme? What's the meme nowadays? It'd be like Let It Go. That's like Let It Go right after Frozen.
Let It Go in a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
But not as I guess overplayed. Hakuna Matata is not that overplayed.
I don't know. I wasn't around back then.
What, Let It Go?
No, for Hakuna Matata.
Well, I mean, I assume it wasn't.
I don't know. Never know.
Anyways.
1,000 questions scientists still can't answer.
1,000, so they get their little resolution, and he finds them in the box, and then he just kind of accepts it. Like, here they are.
Wow, they're just here.
Yeah.
They're right where you left them. No, they're not. You didn't have a box before.
I know, but that's a mom thing, though. That's a mom thing.
Yeah.
Because they really weren't.
They were not. Something happened there.
Anyways, he's 6, so he accepts it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, all right, whatever.
And then there's a scene
fast
where they're
forward.
having Christmas in their new house.
Christmas.
So
and they set up the dog. They set up Buster.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Because he's in the next movie, and they're like, oh, a puppy,
And then, Bo Peep gets a little crazy with Woody.
That's right. When she's not even a toy. She doesn't really do much in this movie, actually, now that I think about it.
She doesn't do much in any of the movies.
That's right. She wasn't even in 3. She wasn't even in 3. I don't even think you noticed that she wasn't there in 3.
They had a throwaway line where they're like,
Bo
Peep's gone. Don't we miss her?
Yeah. So, which there's rumors about Toy Story 4 being about Bo Peep, which I think would be stupid. I don't think that's the thing.
That would be terrible. She doesn't really have...
Because it makes sense that she wasn't there anymore, because she's like a lamp. Like, you can sell the old Bo Peep lamps if she's not a kid anymore, if the daughter's not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
So it makes complete sense. Yeah. But anyways.
And
so we get this little happy resolution.
And then Woody's like, what could Andy possibly get that would be worse than you? And it's like, a puppy! And it does a little circle wipe into the credits.
Yeah, that was a little corny at the end.
Circle wipes are the best.
Yeah, and they kind of look at the camera or whatever. Or they look at each other, actually. It doesn't go that far.
I don't think they look at the camera.
If they look at the camera, that'd be too far.
They might have. I don't remember. Yeah.
Whatever.
All right.
So that's the end of the movie.
No, wait. We have to talk about the credits.
What's in the credits?
The credits are short.
To be honest, I didn't even watch the credits.
They're shorter than they are nowadays. It took a lot less people, it looked like, to me.
What is it? It was shorter than what?
It was like, you know how nowadays when you see a movie, there's just too many people to
Tons of credits, yeah.
If you worked on Toy Story, you could tell your friends you're in the credits, and they would see you. Because they have one single column, you're like size 18 font.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even watch I didn't even go that far.
Yeah. the there's a lot less people I think that worked on it back then
I just know
than
they
do
play
now.
"You Got a Friend in Me" again, which is
Mm-hmm.
amazing, iconic.
Yep.
That could never be overplayed.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it could, but
Look at that.
in my mind, it couldn't.
All right. So, would you recommend the Toy
What do you mean?
Story?
Would I recommend?
Would you
Of
recommend it?
course. Could I give a number score,
Any
or is that off
stipulations
limits?
to that? Would you say if
I
you're like
recommend it.
if you're little
It's.
and you're scared of scary toys?
I would even recommend it then, because you need
Wow.
to face your fears. So
Yeah.
recommend because it's a good story. It's a really unique, in my
Okay.
opinion, story that has a good message
Hmm.
about
It's not very long
jealousy.
either.
It's not also not very long,
Hmm.
which is good. Which is probably why I liked it.
It's shorter than
I
this
watched it like
podcast.
50. I watched it on repeat. So really, I didn't even pay attention to how long we were recording. So it probably is. Yeah, it's a short story, but
It's
it's good.
concise. It's to the point. It's good. I would also recommend it.
All right.
I don't know if I was
How
cutting
how
you
many
off.
little I'm trying to think of our little how many little Woody hats would you give it out of 10?
We're not doing Woody hats, all right?
Woody hats I'll give it a 9 Woody hats out of 10.
9 Woody hats out of 10, really.
9 Woody hats out of 10.
Uh,
Woody
I don't
Pride
know.
hats.
I don't
Woody,
want to give it Woody hats. This seems okay. I'll give it Woody
okay,
hats.
what do you want to give it then?
I recommend it.
And you don't give any number score.
I'll give it a 9 Woody hat out of 10.
Oh, you also give
Just
it a 9.
just as a meme. When I
What
was
is that
little,
supposed to mean?
it's a because no, it's too cliche.
It's cliche. Tell me how it's cliche.
Because everyone gives it a number score.
All right, whatever.
That's what
Okay, well,
everybody
I'll give
does.
it a number score. You do whatever. You
When I
recommend,
was,
not
what
recommend.
would you have given it as a kid?
Oh, definitely 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10 Woody
Now
hats.
it's gone down a
gone
little
down.
bit.
Because
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I like comparing. This is why
I
I'm
would
doing
have
the number
given it
score.
probably a 6 or a 7 as a kid.
As a kid?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's went up since I was little because I was freaked out.
Wow. That's right, because you talked about you like the second one better.
Yeah, the second one didn't have as much freaky stuff.
So before it was 6 little crushed Woody hats that are kind of droopy and
Yeah,
soggy or whatever.
and now it's a solid 9 Woody hats.
Solid 9 Woody hats that are brand new out of the box. Mint.
That's right.
That's also referenced in the next movie.
So
Mint.
yeah, what I wanted to do to rate the movies was just list them in order as we go through them. So right now, Toy Story is just right in the middle.
Yeah, so short just the right here. It's here. It's
It's
cemented.
just here. It's where it is. And
All right.
whenever we talk about Bug's Life,
We'll see if it's above or below.
yeah, we'll see how Bug's Life does. And also, one final note. I'm very
My final
curious. I know a lot of my audience is younger, right? So, I'm really curious if y'all like had a big if Toy Story had a big influence on y'all as it did like us, you know,
That's right.
because we grew up with these movies, right?
That's right. It was
But-
it was my childhood, my boy. Woo.
If you didn't grow up with Toy Story, was there like a movie that was like big in your childhood?
We
like
want to
Cars
hear you.
2?
We like audience
Yeah.
reception, feedback. You got a different
I-
perspective. Different perspective.
Yeah.
We're also gonna have different. Speaking of different perspectives, we're also thinking about having more guests on.
That's right.
So stay tuned for that.
What is Lane's name for YouTube?
I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Anyways, let's wrap it up. Wrap it up for
right.
us, Levi.
So yeah, thank you for watching. If you leave a comment about what you think about Pixar movies, I will definitely read it because there's not that many of you. So I would appreciate.
I'll comment below. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. I might. I don't know.
You can like and subscribe if you want to, but if you don't, why'd you listen for an hour and a half?
Yeah.
But yeah, have a wonderful day, my peoples.
All right. See ya.
Squad fam out.